is part of our district as well. They always get the short end of the stick from far away to get there.
So one of those
Coffeyville
coaches nominated her.
So I think all told, it's 13 area schools that are part of that national district.
All right, okay. And so you're requesting a total of $1,735?
So, well, in the unknown exact number of the fuel for there and back, but yes, basically $1,735 is the request.
For how many people?
2.
So, actually,
So,
Well,
I'll be traveling, Mr. Payne will be traveling, she will be traveling, plus we have another judge that will be going.
so there'd be 4 of you.
Yes,
so how many males, how many females?
2 and 2,
Okay.
2 of each.
So it would be 2 hotel rooms.
Okay,
Correct.
that's,
Correct.
So they need
Yes,
to-
as my wife would tell you, I prefer to think of myself as frugal. My wife would tell you that I am cheap. That's the reason why actually the judge that we will be taking into Mr. Payne is someone that we won't have a problem sharing a room with Alyssa as well, because otherwise we'd have to have like a judge's room.
right.
And that's a lot of money for one person, so.
So we got one non-school personnel person going, correct? now?
Correct, yes. Yeah, sadly, with the size of this tournament, they like to put you in the judging they possibly humanly can, so.
Now, when's the last time we did this, Mr. Workman?
Let's see, World Schools last year and Luke Gilmore in oratory, yeah, last year.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Alyssa, I want to congratulate you.
Yeah.
For sure.
Let's not forget that part, yeah. Carried away, but yeah, she's.
And if we're looking for a motion, I
We
was
are
so
looking for a
moved.
I'll second.
We have a motion for Olivia, second by Lou to pay the costs for the trip to Dallas. Congratulations to you all. And any other discussion? Except all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Carries 6. Good luck.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. If I could take one moment to toot my own horn a little bit, I was struck today when I was looking at the list of state qualifiers that we had this year. So we had 9 qualifiers, 8 underclassmen.
Wow.
Great.
That's
Awesome.
It's
great.
Looks good
It's
coming in
been a
the
while since
future.
we've been on that side of
Yeah.
the side of the equation. So
Hopefully you're back next year.
Yeah, that'll keep you here another year or two.
yes, indeed. But thank you.
Alyssa's just a junior. and
Nice.
good for her.
6B is bus board and design and construction. Taylor, welcome back. You all have some documents in front of you. Just hand it out.
Good evening. So, last time I was here at the special board meeting, the last Monday, 6 a.m., 7 a.m. Brought the 3 options, we discussed those. You guys came to a consensus that we need to come back and modify something between option 1 and 2. So this week, put some numbers together. Last week, put some numbers together, and we came up with option 2B, I will say. So included in 2B is concrete slab at the maintenance bay, 5 overhead doors with the operators, which was a difference from option 2 before. We have no mechanical or plumbing. We have electric plugs for the block heaters and electrical service. We have basic site lighting and basic electrical for the plug-ins in the maintenance bay. And then we have included wall and roof insulation. And then we included windows on 4 elevations of the building. On the maintenance bay side, we will have 3 windows on 3 sides of that. Obviously, we won't have it in the dividing wall between the bus barn and the maintenance bay. And then on the bus barn itself, we'd have windows on the south side and on the east side. So with that said, the budget for that option came back at $325,000. That's kind of what I expected. It's almost exactly right in the middle of where we were at from option 1 to option 2.
Is this a shorter one?
It did. Yeah, that's the other thing.
Because I
Roger.
can't see.
Yeah, we went down to 16 foot 6 inches.
Magnifying glass, you can see it, it's drawn to scale. I looked that up.
my magnifying glass out this morning, made sure.
We went down to 16 foot 6 inches on the low eave height. We talked about going lower than that in the meeting last week, but I went and met with the pre-engineered metal building people, and they strongly recommended that we don't put anything smaller than a 14-foot overhead door in there, simply due to the fact that legal running height for the Kansas Department of Transportation is 13 foot 6 inches. So legally, in the future, they could raise the bus height to 13.6, and we could have an issue with a 12-foot overhead door and not be able to get the equipment in there.
What's the cost difference here between just that? You know, what it costs to go from the 16 down to the 14 and the building height and all that, roughly?
Roughly, well, it's about $5,000.
Okay.
But then we came back and we added the windows in, so it
Okay.
kind of offset that cost.
Okay, all right.
So,
So the difference between a 20-foot height and 16-foot doors is 5,000 versus the short.
approximately. I mean, I didn't specifically crunch that number out, but we got the windows added back in, and that is about a wash on that aspect of
All
it.
right, okay.
This is kind of off the subject a little bit. There's digging out there by the, what's the digging out there by the DO? Looks like they're.
They're running fiber. That has nothing to do with this project. That's for internet.
Is there a cost to that?
Running the fiber? No. And before
We don't
July,
have to move it, or it's not being moved or anything, right?
what they're doing now is digging for new. They're trenching for new.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Can you explain to me the term, well, I guess it's not a term. Can you explain to me as precisely as possible the difference between no mechanical or plumbing and mechanical/electric room? The difference between the mechanical and the plumbing aspects of option 2 and option 1. What does option 1 have and option 2 does not?
So on option 1, we were putting 2 gas-fired unit heaters out in the maintenance bay itself to provide heat there.
Like hanging from the ceiling?
Yep,
Okay.
yep, and they were, I can't remember how many BTU, but
Okay,
just a
all right.
gas-fired unit heater for heat only out in that maintenance shop. Inside the mechanical room where we were gonna hang the electrical panel, we had provided, we made provision to put a Mitsubishi split system in there. It's the high wall mount unit with the outdoor unit that's a heat pump that provides heating and cooling through one system.
All right.
And the purpose for that was, if you guys were gonna put cameras on the exterior of this building, and you have some equipment stashed in, excuse me, in that room for, internet or your server equipment, I don't know exactly what that would be, but that would need to be cooled in the summertime because the temperature could drive up past the limits. Typically on a room, they want to keep it at 70 degrees. So we, a lot of times, will even put units in that are called low ambient cooling. So when the outdoor temperature is below 50 degrees, they'll still provide cooling.
Okay. So the bulk, as we discussed at our last meeting, and it makes sense now, given the differences. What about on the plumbing side? That was a mechanical. What on the plumbing side?
On the plumbing side, we had made provisions for water brought into the building from the meter to bring in frost-free hydrant. Initially, on the first one, it was about bringing water in, providing a instantaneous hot water heater with hose bib hookups so they could power wash buses. But then we stepped that back, and then this one included building the room, the electrical, we're going to put the electrical panel in there. We'll probably put that over in the bus barn space now, just for logistic reasons, and then the mechanical. We also had a drain in there at one time on the very first shot at this, and we've removed that out too.
Okay. So primarily the amount of cost associated with this plumbing and mechanical is the labor and the piping and so forth to get from the current service to out there and get in there.
Yeah, we'll have the gas piping for one, and then just the equipment and labor costs, yes.
Yeah. So the amount of water service you're running there, does it have any excess capacity for future expansion or not? What are you running to that building?
Currently under option 2.
The provision under option 1, for example.
Option 1, we're just going to come off of the service with the standard 1.5-inch poly pipe.
Okay, so you run 1.5 inches to the facility.
Yeah, we just come
Okay.
off the water main and then bring it over to the building. And underground, I think typically it's, I mean, don't quote me on this, about 1.5-inch poly.
But do we have 1.5-inch service down there?
We come off the main.
Well, it doesn't matter whether you have 1.5 inch service. One of the things you do, if you want to increase your volume, is you come off a smaller meter with a larger pipe, and then you increase your volume, because all about water is volume, not pressure. And so you can increase your volume with a larger pipe, and then that can service a
Well,
lot more than what you need.
but if your meter is only a certain dimension, we had that trouble at the high school at the track. I remember years ago, you can't get so much water out of it. And that's what I'm asking.
It can be decided by the mechanical engineer, but under this provision, no water
So
coming to
in
this
option
building.
2,
In
option 2.
there's no water at all
Option 2,
anyway.
2B, there's no water coming to this space.
All I'm trying to tell you, Roger, is if you got a 1-inch meter, in between your meter, you connect on it with a 1-inch fitting, and you go to your facility with a 2-inch line, for example, you're going to build volume that allows you to do a lot more once you get to your facility than if you go 1 inch all the way, because it's not only pressure, it's volume.
Well, I
So that's what I'm
understand that
saying.
to a certain extent, but the meter's out front, so you got the distance too.
Okay.
So the
No,
I'm
There
sorry.
are no windows in option number 1?
Right, we did not have windows in option 1, correct? I just made the put windows in option 2B, which is what's in front of you, included in the 325,000.
If we were to go
And they're on
with,
the south and east?
I'm sorry,
So
We
what is
have windows on the south, east, and west sides of the building.
if we were to go with option 1 with an option for, as an optional bid, we could do that as well, if we were with option 1.
Absolutely.
Do you have a figure approximately for windows?
I'm going to say about $5,000.
It offset.
That was about the
building height.
offset, so.
Any other questions? If we need to move this, so I would accept a motion for something.
So it'd be either option 1
Option 1.
or option 2. And it could be option 1 with
Option 1 with an alternate bid.
the alternate bid for windows.
But option 1, you had made mention, MT had the 14, or recommended the, 12 or 14-foot doors?
We had the higher eave height in option 1. We were at 20-foot eave height with a 16-foot overhead door, which if we were going to go to option 1, it would not be an issue at all to say, when we bid this out, we're going to do everything in option 1. We're going to lower the high eave height to 16.6 and put 14-foot overhead doors in it.
That would be my preference.
Is that a motion?
The way I look at this is long-term. This is something that we're making money on in the long-term. I think for aesthetics, it needs to be, we need to have the garage doors. To me, it doesn't necessarily, I think we would need water, plumbing. I think it just would, to me, long-term for the use of the building.
And windows.
Yeah, for 5,000, I mean, long-term, might as well. I would make a motion for option 1, but I would think we would want to have the 16-foot height to accommodate the 14-foot doors.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, motion by David, second by Jeff, to go with option 1, or going to 16-foot height and windows. Still with the 4 sets of windows. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
You said no.
No.
Okay.
I said no.
You said no? Okay, so that's 3-3.
We don't have a building.
Ready for another motion?
We can make another motion for a different option.
Need a motion, we're gonna back this thing off another month and
We will not
not
have
be,
a
not be
building,
ready to go.
and we'll have $1 million worth of buses.
What would you guys like to see?
I beg your
What would you like?
That's, the money is be on both.
For both options?
It's a lot of money.
It is a lot of money.
Bus barn, yes, I'm sorry. Just,
Well, I'm not hearing another motion, so I guess we'll try again next month.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate your time and effort.
Can't hear you out.
You're saying that a potential, if the money is a problem, even with what we have in reserve and what we have in capital outlay, we could solicit bids for a lease purchase just simply to make payments over time, even if we have, and keep our reserves.
And we currently have over $900,000 in capital outlay and over $900,000 in contingency reserve. But we could,
But there is that option of going out and lease purchase just simply to leverage us through that period of time in case other expenses come up.
so those other expenses that we haven't looked at that I worry about too, capital outlay. I understand it's coming out of a certain fund.
Okay. Well, if you don't have any more questions for me, I'll, okay.
What do you want? What's your motion?
Well, you know what I want.
No, I don't,
is it?
because
What
we,
you
Yes, I do.
I wasn't at that big, long meeting. I don't know what you want, because at the short meeting, I still couldn't figure out what you wanted. What do you want specifically?
If I were building it, just what we originally started talking out.
Okay.
Is
Maybe
that
I-
not true, Lori? Just basic, bare bones?
Okay, is any of these options meet your,
No.
no?
Because
Okay.
I didn't care about the doors.
Okay,
Never
so,
did.
all right, so you don't have a motion?
No.
Okay, you're going back to the original one, which was like 200,000,
Well, it could be
210,
less than 200,000 if you drop the height.
190.
these
Yeah.
were the only ones that we had proposed. So
Okay.
there was not
So it's this option here with
I could live with
lower
that.
ceiling,
There were, well, that wasn't an
or something
option.
like that?
Yeah.
So that's gonna be 232, because he said it was about 5,000 to lower the ceiling.
Yeah, I think it'd be lower than that. I think it would, but I don't know.
Well, all these options could be lower once we send them out for bid.
Absolutely.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, normally these fellows that come in, like Taylor, they don't kind of,
Yeah, I can't come in and tell you that something's gonna cost $230,000 and then I can take it out for bids and it comes back and it's $250.
yeah,
I
he doesn't
mean,
get business that way.
yeah,
So,
so,
there you go.
Okay.
okay,
All right.
thank you.
Okay, we're at 0, report from superintendent of schools.
Okay, tomorrow is middle school promotion at 6 o'clock. Last student day is the following day on the 15th. 16th is the last teacher day. Have time for grade cards in the morning and some professional development. There are 4 positions open on the USD 503 school board that we have. The filing deadline is June the 3rd down in Oswego at noon that day. So if anyone would like to file, we've got some information that came out from KSB about board members and things that board members need to be able to do. So I'd be happy to provide that if they want to call the district office. This week, or last week, I was able to give Jane Good a certificate for 25 years in education. Each year, KU sends a letter out that says, these are the folks in your district that have served Kansas students and schools for 25 years. So we gave Jane that certificate. We appreciate her service. Earlier in the year, from the food service, we were notified that we were given an award for the USDA Healthier U.S. Schools Bronze level. And so those certificates came, so I just want to kind of show you what they are. So that came at the end of last year and was announced last year. It came with a $500 grant. It was something that our previous director had applied for. So these will be hanging in all of the schools until 2022 in the kitchen. I found out as I was walking in tonight, we do have a golf state qualifier. Andrew Ferris qualified today. for state golf. So we've got that coming up. Our next regularly scheduled board meeting is June the 17th, 2019, right here at 6 o'clock.
8.0 is Tri-County Board meeting, pretty short meeting, we had a lot of action. We approved membership, KSB membership, as well as the Legal Assistance Fund, and contracts with Greenbush for all the services that they provide for us. The Special Olympics and Gifted Expo were postponed from May 8th to the 15th in Erie, and at the ICC lab in Independence. We have found out that Greenbush group made no change in cost for the next year for options B and C. Recruitment is going on. They still have positions to fill. And the big item, the most time we spent was talking about the 1920 assessment, which we voted on next month, and we will see an increase. It will probably be a significant increase. From the discussions we had, we will see about a 6% total increase in our assessment between the assessment and cost for special services.
And the special services is what drove that up. That'll be in your view on Friday, all that information they provided wasn't, she had given us some things, but I've got that for Friday.
Any questions on that? If not, the next 9.0 is report from our principals. You have written reports tonight because most of them are busy doing something else.
Getting ready for promotion and then feel free to email them.
There's no old business. We'll move to new business, accept donations. That's handed out to you tonight. Somewhere in my packet here.
So the donation list that we have for the month of April, Garfield, Parsons Grade School PTO donated for inflatables, $500. Interstate Studio and Publishing for Spring Portraits, $208, and Interstate Studio and Publishing donated from the group Portraits, $44, for a total of $752 to Garfield. Lincoln, the Parsons Area Community Grant, they received for technology replacement of the headphones, that was $509. From Interstate Studio, an unrestricted donation, $668, and box tops for an unrestricted donation, equipment they used for $100, for a total of $1,277 at Lincoln. Guthridge PTO made a donation for Family Night Teachers, $500. Parsons Middle School received a donation from the Parsons Area Community Foundation grant, Chromebook for the teachers, which was valued at $10,000. The high school, there was an anonymous donation for the welding department of $65. And then down here, the next one's anonymous donation for the honor flight of $476.10. This one's a little different because the Elk County veterans made the donation for the honor flight for $5,200. So that's how that was. It wasn't anonymous. There was an anonymous donation for the welding department at $150. Deere and Company, care of Stephen Smith, donated graphic design donation of $175. Cans for Kansas, Warren Vincent made an honor flight donation for $700. Lincoln Elementary had a graphic design donation of $116. Luann Stein made an honor flight donation of $100. John and Deborah Schaefer made an honor flight donation of $100. And Cooper Snacks made a donation for positive reinforcements, $97.98, for a total of $7,180 at the high school for the month of April, totaling $19,709 worth of donations made to the district for the month of April. We appreciate generous folks who make donations.
Any discussion on that? If not, I'll accept the motion to approve the donations.
Accept the donations.
Olivia made the motion, second by
Second.
David. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Carries 6-0. 10.1, action on additional credit cards. Lori?
Okay, so this was included in your view on March the 29th and again on May the 10th. Tanya's here if you have any questions. Due to the wide variety of activities and athletics and all kinds of things, to send out credit cards at the end when people check them out to go different activities and places, coupled with the rapidly increasing trend of many of our regular vendors, including our hotels, require payment by a credit card, either in advance or with the person, we are left with a shortage of credit cards. So we're asking.
We're asking for an increase of $10,000.
So you're asking for 4 more credit cards?
For 4 more credit cards with limits of $2,500 apiece, just simply because we ran into a situation this year, and then, I mean, I can see it happening again just with the golf and the world forensics that we were talking about. So we just need to make sure that we have the actual quantity to send out. We currently have a $30,000 limit for all of the cards, and we are asking to increase that by $10,000 so we can have 4 more generic cards with limits of $2,500 each, because we just don't want to run into a situation where there isn't adequate limit. And I also want to say thank you for making the motion, David, to let us change from commercial bank to Labette Bank regarding these credit cards, because it has been very well worth it.
Any questions? I'll entertain a motion to approve this increase of credit cards and credit limit.
So moved.
Motion by Jeff.
Second.
Second by David. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 6-0. Okay, item 10.2 is action to approve reemployment of licensed staff. That's all in your packet on page 31. That's quite a list there. Recommended to reemploy all these folks. Once we had a chance to look it over, we'd entertain a motion.
Without Bert Smith as a custodian, right?
We're on the license
Under the
folks.
custodians, we have Bert Smith, and
Right, and that'll
I saw
be-
the resignation
Right,
tonight.
because she turned that in after this was printed.
Right.
That would be on the classified, so. So right there we are on certified, or
I
licensed.
so moved.
Motion by Olivia,
I'll second it.
second by Lou. Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Carries 6-0. Now we're on the classified staff, which is on the back page of your material.
So I'd recommend that you approve these classified staff for reemployment with the exception of Bert Smith, who turned in her letter for retirement today. So, yeah, that's gonna hurt.
I give him so moved. Well, I can't do this because I have my sons on here, so I'm gonna lay back.
Okay. You'll be able to vote on it because it's a group.
Was there
I'm not
a
gonna,
motion?
I withdraw my motion.
Right.
There's not a motion.
There's no motion yet.
Okay.
So moved.
Motion by Jeff,
Second.
second by David. Employ all the folks on the back page except Bert Smith, who's going to retire. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Carries 6-0. Moving forward.
Mr. President, 5-0. You didn't vote, did you? Okay.
5-1.
5-1. Yeah.
Sorry. 5-1. Okay, we're to 10.4, executive session. Do we need an executive session?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay, so moving forward. Action on personnel, 10.5, we have some resignations and appointments.
So I would move that you approve these resignations for employment effective the close of the 18-19 school year. Addison Mayberry, kindergarten teacher, and Ariana Jackson, Lincoln instructional aide.
Let's make a motion to that effect.
So moved.
Motion by David,
Second.
second by Jeff. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Carries 6-0. Recommendation for employment.
Okay, and these, I recommend that you employ these folks for the 19-20 contract year, beginning with Emily George, high school 10th grade English language arts teacher, Molly Harris, Guthridge elementary teacher, Linda Perrell, assistant superintendent, Holly Smith, Guthridge elementary teacher, Jennifer Stewart, kindergarten teacher, Katrina Strode, Garfield elementary teacher, and Paige Varner, kindergarten teacher.
You want to,
Add the addendum.
Oh, and then, yeah,
Vincent.
oh, I probably should have done that, or, well,
we'll get the,
come back and do that? Yeah.
okay. Have a motion for the original recommendation for employment.
So moved.
Jeff.
Second.
Second by David. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Carries 6-0. Now go to the addendum.
Okay.
10.5 addendum.
So on the addendum from today, resignation for retirement, Bert Smith, high school head custodian, effective July the 31st, 2019.
I so move.
Motion by Olivia,
Second.
second by David. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Carries 6-0. Thank you, Bert, for all your work in our school.
Yes, she does a great job.
Recommendation for employment here.
Okay, and this is for middle school 8th grade math, Susan Beeson. I ask that I recommend her for employment for the 1920 contract year.
So moved. Motion by Jeff,
Second.
second by Olivia. Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Carries 6-0. Any recommendation for Board of Education members? Not, meeting adjourned.
Thank you.